Am I the a-hole for telling my female friend I don't care about her feelings? I'm getting married in 2 weeks. Last week was my bachelor party and several of my friends attended, women and men. During the party, one of my female friends, let's call her Kelly, got very drunk and confessed to me that she's not happy that I'm getting married and that she thinks my future wife is not a good match for me. She also confessed she's been in love with me since we were 21. Now we are 27. And that it hurt her feelings how I never realized and never did anything about it. Due to the fact that she was drunk, I completely ignored what she said and I was like, fine, okay, whatever, at that moment. I waited till she got sober to see if she'd say anything about this again. And 2 days after the party, she texted me and asked me if I thought about what she said. I told her to elaborate just to make sure she's talking about her confession. She was indeed talking about it, and I told her exactly what I thought. I told her I don't care what she thinks about me and my fiancé being a good match, and she's not the best judge of that since she claims to be in love with me. I also told her that I truly don't care about her feelings towards me and I don't know what she expected to achieve. She was shocked to see me responding like that, and she was like, "You don't need to be rude about this." I replied telling her that of course I'll be rude. She's trying to ruin my wedding by thinking confessing to me will change anything. Told her to come back to reality and realize she's not playing in a movie and her confession is embarrassing. And instead of letting it go and blaming it on the alcohol, she pushed it and expected to see whether she'd actually have succeeded. I told her at this point I don't care about her at all. That girl apparently exposed me to our friends. She didn't tell them the whole story, and I had to explain to everyone what she really said and expected. My friends kept insisting that I acted like an a-hole, and just because I'm getting married, that gives me no right to invalidate my friends' feelings towards me. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I also want to clarify one thing. Kelly has not been a good person towards my fiancé at all, especially during our first years together. She only fixed her attitude after I had several fights with her regarding boundaries. Due to her fixed attitude, I believed she changed truly. Now for the top comments. Not stay home. She's had 6 years to tell you how she feels and decided right before your wedding was the right time? Time to unfriend Kelly and go no contact. Also, she was mad he didn't notice she was in love with him and do something about it? Girl, if a boy doesn't notice you're in love with him, and then he falls in love with someone else, that means either A, he was never going to reciprocate your feelings no matter what, or B, you should have said something? Like back when it could have made a difference? As in, before his freaking bachelor party. You do not get to be mad at someone for not reading your mind. Not ever. You do get to be mad at someone for puking nonsense all over you and your relationship right before your wedding. Not a-hole. Are you kidding me? How did this confession not result in you telling Kelly you have been in love with her as well but never revealed your true feelings, out of fear she would not reciprocate? Then you and Kelly fall into bed and you break off your impending nuptials. Oh, because that scenario is a BS bad storyline from a very crappy romance ever written and / or produced. Kelly sucks. She has no respect or care for you as a friend. A real friend would support you and keep their silly crush to themselves. A real friend would have told you of their feelings long before you were in a committed, loving relationship and heading towards marriage. And your friends back in Kelly suck also. Friend or not, we should not co-sign people's messed up behavior. You're not a-hole. I wish you and your fiancé a beautiful wedding and a long marriage filled with infinite love, laughter, and prosperity. This was a funny read. Thank you so much for the well wishes for the wedding. Genuinely confused as to why your friends thought that you needed to be nice to her in this situation. This isn't some time where you were both single and she was pouring her heart out. This was her attempting to blow up your wedding after being historically unkind to your fiancé. If you wanted to be with her, you would be with her. But if you're not, you're with your fiancé. Therefore, you were not invalidating her feelings. You were asserting yours. She was trying to invalidate your feelings and your wants by pulling this last-minute malarkey. You don't have to be rude. Shove off, girl. She disrespected you and your wife and inserted her drama during a time that is supposed to be exciting and blissful for you and your fiancé. What did she honestly expect to happen? Yeah, it sucks to watch someone you like be with someone else. But if you genuinely care for that person, you put on your big adult pants. Let it go, be happy for them, and move on to someone who is actually available. I tried to give her an out by letting it go after the bachelor party, and she decided to escalate the situation. Now she is dragging your mutual friends into her mess? No. Rudeness is exactly what you need to get through this woman. Revoke her invites and go no contact. Not stay home. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my son to leave my house after he announced his engagement? My son Adam's 24 best friend Carlos, 25, passed away over 2 years ago in a car accident. This loss completely devastated Adam to the point where he lost his job. They were like brothers, and our family have known his family for years, so we're also very devastated over this loss. Carlos left behind his girlfriend, their now 4-year-old son. We don't know his girlfriend too well, since he didn't bring her around much. They were on and off till their son was born. Adam told me that he had been seeing and taking care of Carlos's family's needs, which is great. We were glad he was stepping up to make sure that Carlos's family were getting help. Adam also got a new job, and we sort of had limited contact for a few months. He started visiting us lately and looked different in general. He is now more calm and smiles more often. It is even open to talk about Carlos without getting too emotional. I was relieved and happy for him. But last week, he contacted me and his dad and said he had something to tell us. He visited and brought Carlos's girlfriend and child with him. We had dinner, and then all of a sudden, he told us that he and Carlos's girlfriend have started dating and announced their engagement there. I was in shock. I didn't expect this at all. I didn't know what to say, but I felt upset and shocked mostly. Adam noticed my reaction and asked what was wrong. I told him I never expected him to get with his best friend's partner, of all people, and talked about how bad this would look to Carlos's family who are close friends to ours. Carlos's girlfriend excused herself and her son to the bathroom, and Adam and I began arguing. He went on about how I upset his fiancée and that I should be supporting him, but I said that he should have told me, and that he shouldn't have got together with his best friend's partner, and perhaps use her grief to get her to date him. He acted shocked and called me unbelievable. That's when I asked him to leave my house. He got up and left with them. My husband said I messed up by making a scene and reacting the way he did. I went upstairs and stayed alone for an hour. It's been days and Adam hasn't called, and my husband kept trying to get me to speak to him, but I kept saying I needed time. You're the a-hole. It's been 2 years. The girlfriend is allowed to move on and find love again. I'm sure they grew closer in supporting each other, so this isn't surprising. Intimacy is not predatory. You accused your son of being manipulative and predatory without cause. You also made it seem shameful that she's moving on and not starting permanently a grieving widow, which I'm sure she's had to work through the emotions of already on her own. You behaved very badly to both of them. Right, they have something extremely big and important in common. By all accounts, her son is a decent stand-up guy. Why is she assuming he's done something horrible here? You're the a-hole. Not to mention, who else would Carlos want to be with this widow? I have specifically told my husband that if I pass away, that he should remarry, and if he can, he should marry a friend of mine or at least someone that he thinks I would be friends with. I want to get along with a second wife in the next life. This is an easy you're the a-hole. Carlos is dead. It's not like your son and a girlfriend are cheating on him. They probably both bonded through the grief of losing him. Is she supposed to stay single forever? Oh no. It's so terrible that your son and this woman bonded over a mutual loss and have fallen in love, and he decided that he wanted to continue to be in her and her child's life. Woe is you. You're the a-hole. Why are you so keen to find something wrong with his choice? It's not like the girlfriend is cheating. Carlos passed 2 years ago, not 2 days. Get over yourself and beg your son's forgiveness. You're the a-hole. Of all people, they're young, of similar age, and they shared a highly emotional thing. Didn't you suspect that this would draw them closer? It's beautiful that they found something positive in their lives and they'll never forget Carlos. I have friends where the exact same thing happened, and they're a strong, loving couple. I think you owe them an apology. I understand it might have taken you by surprise, but to not apologize now for your behavior would make you the a-hole. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to resend mom my wedding invite after she gifted my wheelchair-bound, soon-to-be husband running shoes as a joke? I, female 29, met my fiancé, male 32, 2 years ago. He's wheelchair-bound, yes, but he's the most kind-hearted, generous person I've known. I'm not the prettiest or most intelligent one out there, but he accepts and loves me as I am. We met via group therapy because he lost his mom in the same accident that made him disabled. When he met my mom, I'm sorry this bit is hard for me to type out. He really hoped that he'd see her as his own, but she acted a bit rude towards him. She kept making jokes about him and teased him a lot. We arranged for a wedding that meets our budget. My fiancé's mom's death anniversary was last month. Mom joked about him being responsible for the accident, which created a dispute. I told mom she'd have to apologize for making him cry, and she did. Then 2 weeks ago, she called asking if she could attend his birthday, and he told me to let her come. She came and was all loving and cheerful. She apologized for the past misunderstandings, and my fiancé was confused by her change of heart. We had a great time, till after dinner when she gave him a box saying this was her gift for his birthday. He opened it, and what we saw was a pair of Nike running shoes. He looked at her, and she started laughing, then said something about being optimistic and hoping he'd use them one day. I lost it, and we both started yelling at each other with her saying it was just a joke. I said this was utter humiliation because she was basically rubbing it in his face that he is how he is. My fiancé said it was okay, but I had her step outside to talk. She kept arguing, saying she didn't mean for this to play out like that, and that he was being too sensitive and could use more therapy because his reaction should have been to laugh. I said she's no longer welcome to the wedding. She acted shocked, saying I was really taking this too seriously, but I insisted that she send back the invite. My dad joined us and begged that I take time to calm down and not make a decision I might regret later. She got into the car and was crying. Dad said we'd talk later, but I said nothing to talk about after she insulted my fiancé in front of my friends. Dad then got into the car and left. The birthday party got awkward, which led to guests leaving early. Dad kept calling me after I got the invite back to try to act like a mediator between us and got the family involved. They said this is my mom, and while she might have done something that was seen as offensive, excluding her from the wedding is too much, and asked me to resend her the invite so we could get this over with, but I kept saying no. Now for the comments. Not a-hole. I still can't get past the fact that she joked about being responsible for his mother's death. Yes, she could have started this with, "My mom's a monster." Not a-hole OP. I fear the statement is correct, and it's a fact that it's your mother that is in need of therapy to find out why she's so actively toxic, and maybe your father to root out why he is accepting of it. My soon-to-be husband's mom's death anniversary was last month. Mom joked about him being responsible for the accident which created a dispute. Joked? Haha, you killed your mother. Is it a joke? I would have cut her off after that one, and kept my husband away from her going forward. Just because she's your egg donor doesn't mean you have to have a relationship with her. Some people don't deserve it. Not a-hole. My only concern here is how you spoke about yourself. Firstly, it sounds like you have self-esteem issues, and that's likely from your mom. Your husband using a wheelchair doesn't make him less, and he isn't settling for you. He loves you, and you him. I wish you every happiness. Your mom has had a lot of opportunities to behave and improve her choices, and she hasn't. She isn't sorry, and I hate to think of her behavior on the day. No attitude change would be no invite, and continued clear boundaries. That said, people who use wheelchairs can still have cool shoes, and had she not made the jokes, I'd consider it a good gift. Completely agree, especially with the first paragraph. He is not with you because he accepts that you're not the prettiest or most intelligent out there. He's with you because he loves you. And you don't have to ever make excuses why you are with him either. Wishing you both a lifetime of mother-free happiness. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for wearing all white to my best friend's wedding and refusing to apologize? My 30 female best friend, 32 female, invited us, husband and I, to go on vacation with them at South Padre Island. She told me to bring the dress I wore to my last anniversary dinner for the special dinner/event she planned during the vacation. I said sure. I also recently gave birth, and that dress is an elegant black lace over nude dress that is very classy, but also form-fitting. When I tried it on when packing, I realized it wasn't as flattering and my boobs had a hard time fitting. So I packed a cute semi-formal white lace dress instead. I figured it was close enough. I arrived to the event and found out it was a surprise wedding where she only invited like 20 guests on the beach. She hadn't told me it was her wedding because of an inside joke. I kept telling them to get married and watch that they will elope. The next thing we know, they are married. She was horrified, and so was I. I didn't bring any other dress. Plus, there was no time to change/buy a new dress. Also, surprise, I'm the maid of honor. I offered to either not be the maid of honor or leave the wedding, but she'd rather me not. Later, she blamed me for ruining her wedding because I didn't follow her instructions to wear a specific dress and didn't tell her about changing my mind. I said I'm sorry her wedding was ruined, but it wasn't my fault, and she should have told me it was her wedding. And at the time of packing, I didn't find it appropriate to get her approval on my outfit. Lol, came here fully prepared to call you the a-hole, but you literally didn't know it was a wedding. It's a shame for the bride, but that's a risk you take when you pull a surprise like that. Not stay home. 100% agree with this. The bride didn't foresee any potential problems with her surprise. This is an important lesson for her about expectations versus reality. It makes me sad that she thinks you ruined the wedding because you wore white to a surprise. To me, a wedding is ruined if like the groom doesn't show up. You're not a-hole at all, and if they're happily married, you didn't ruin a thing. A real friend would be like, you remember the time you showed up to my surprise wedding wearing white? And we all have a laugh about it for years. My new sister-in-law came to see me as I was getting dressed for my wedding. She was wearing the exact same dress as the one I brought to change into before leaving the reception. We thought it was hilarious and made sure we got lots of pictures together. What made it even funnier was that we had each other described our dress to the other prior to the wedding, but apparently neither of us did a great job at that. I really think about half of the posts on this subreddit could be solved with this attitude. Don't people know a good story when they see one?
Am I the a-hole for making Christmas awkward when I said I didn't care if my mom ended up divorced? My dad died when my mom was pregnant with me, 15 male. My brother was 6 when dad died and always talked about him and told me stories about him. He was really affected by dad's death and kept him alive for me in a way. I can't describe it, but some of my favorite memories are of my brother telling me bedtime stories that were just stories about dad, instead of stories from books or made-up stuff. He only had 5 he knew from living them, but they were the best. He also told me stories he got from my dad's family too, just way less frequently since they weren't his lived stories. The stuff made me feel like I still had a dad, even though I didn't have one with me. When I was 6, Mom met my stepdad and married him after 5 months of dating. He wanted a really fast family and wanted to adopt me and my brother. But my brother hated him for expecting it. They had a fight when it was mentioned because our stepdad said he'd be the man of the house and our family. So it only made sense. My brother told him he was a stranger. We only knew him for 3 months when this was happening, so my brother wasn't wrong. It offended our stepdad though. I wasn't okay with it either, and that ticked him off more. He brought it up a bunch of times the first year, and then like 5 times a year after that. My brother told him he'd rather be dead than let him be his dad. I said no, but I tried to not be a jerk about it. I didn't want it and got kind of annoyed by being asked so much. I said that too, but I was told it was something he'd keep asking because he felt he deserved it. My mom wanted him to have what he wanted, and they didn't think it was fair for me to say no when I didn't ever know my dad or have a relationship with him. My mom gave my brother a really hard time for being the cause of it, and my stepdad told me I should want a dad at my age. He said that at a lot of different ages. Yesterday, things got awkward and it's made today awkward too. We're not even that far into today. But my mom and stepdad sat me down, and he told me again he wanted to adopt me. Before I could say no again, he told me he's tired of not having kids of his own. He can't have any, and he wants someone to pass on his family name. He wants that to be me since he raised me as his own. He said he's tired of being dismissed as a dad, and if I don't accept him, then he's done. And he'll either divorce mom or he'll ignore me and my brother forever. My mom told me I need to help her not get divorced and ask if I wanted that for her. I said I don't care. I don't want to be adopted, and I'm not giving in because of their marriage. They didn't like my answer, and now my mom's family's frustrated that I made things so awkward because we're all together and it's bad. I'll probably hide out in my bedroom for the rest of the day because it's intense downstairs. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. It's disgusting that they're putting the fate of their marriage on your shoulders. I'd reach out to your brother or another adult to see if there is a way you can leave. My brother knows about it all, but he can't take me. My mom would fight it, and she would win because my brother is my brother and not my second parent. He looked into whether I could live with him a year ago, and he was told even if I wanted it, we wouldn't have a chance when I have a living parent. Not the a-hole. You are absolutely not responsible for your mother's marriage. The foundations of their marriage have absolutely nothing to do with whether they adopt you or not. She seems to be manipulative. 100% this. And Opie did not make Christmas awkward. His mom and her husband ruined Christmas with their emotional blackmail. They're massive a-holes, and so are the relatives trying to blame Opie. The relatives from mom's side of the family only care about the mom. It's frustrating how family often jumps to blame the kid instead of holding the adults accountable. Opie deserves support, not guilt for their choices. This is a huge burden for such a young person. You'd be surprised to know adults who own up to accountability has drastically dropped over the years. And something tells me this free fall wouldn't get any better anytime soon. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling my soon-to-be ex-husband a freaking psycho for putting the news of our divorce in the kids' presence? My soon-to-be ex-husband and I have been married for a long time, but we're going to get divorced soon. We've had our fair share of fights here and there, which is normal for any couple, but he is the type of man who complains a lot, makes a ton of demands, and rarely acknowledges me or includes me in big decisions. Things had already been bad between us, but it got worse when he received his diagnosis. He is suffering from a medical condition. While I sympathize with his condition, I knew this was going to be the end of our marriage. I knew I could not handle this version of him with his condition at all. So I was very honest with him and told him that I wanted a divorce. He was open to it, yet resentful towards me, but he had been for a while now, so yeah. We agreed to tell the kids after Christmas and just be together as a family and enjoy the holidays. Well, he wanted to be petty and get back at me, but I didn't think it'd go to such lengths. In the morning, when our kids, they're 13 and 15 by the way, opened their Christmas presents, they were shocked to find out their dad and I are getting divorced. Their dad printed this on paper and put the papers in their gift boxes. It was horrible. Especially the way he worded it. Merry Christmas. Your mom is divorcing me. The house turned into a crying mess. He wasn't even there. He went to get coffee or something. He knew what was going to happen. Thus, he left the house in the morning. I didn't know what to do. I tried my best to get them to calm down and they called my mom. He came back and I absolutely blew up at him and called him a freaking psycho for doing this to the kids. On Christmas, no less. He defended himself, saying I was no better for deciding to end our marriage right after his diagnosis. I told him it was more because of his awful character than anything else, but he has tainted my image to the kids, as they now think I'm leaving him because of his condition and refuse to speak to me. It got out and in-laws got involved. He told everyone I called him a psycho and yelled at him for telling the kids the truth. They all came at me, especially his mother who hated me all those years for no apparent reason. She called me a bee and said that if my relationship with the kids is ruined, then it would be because of my own doing, and I have no one to blame but myself for being such an awful wife and mother. It escalated. He's moving out, and the kids are with my mom. I'm feeling utterly devastated right now, but started to think that my outburst was unnecessary. And calling him a psycho and causing a scene instead of de-escalating the situation might have been wrong. Remember, your relationship with your children is a marathon, not a sprint. One day they will look back on this and think their dad is a psycho. They will have lots of other examples of him being a nut job by then. Remember the Christmas dad traumatized us while sipping wine together in their 30s over a Christmas dinner? Always be the bigger person. Always rise above and put your kids first. Trust that your soon-to-be ex cannot hide his rotten core forever. Honestly, this should be documented as an attempt at parental alienation when the conversation turns to custody. I love this advice. When your kids are older, they'll see everything for what it is. You can't control what their dad does, but you can control how you respond. Keep being the bigger person even when it's hard. They will remember who was there for them. Don't wait for them to be older. Explain why you're leaving. They're both old enough to understand. What he did was petty and wrong, but you're certainly being incredibly vague about the important details. We only have your side of the story when it comes to why you're getting divorced, and you admit that his medical condition is a major reason you're choosing to divorce him now, so I'm not sure you're much better. Until you provide more details about the cause of the divorce or his medical condition, I'm saying everyone sucks here. My relationship with him has been bad already. And now, I just don't think things will get better after his diagnosis. In fact, I'm 110% certain they'll get worse. I'm sure he'll just get more needy and controlling, and I don't think I can take it. Next story. My wife is sad because I got my sister a much more romantic Christmas gift than I got her. Am I the a-hole? Last night, my family hosted a gift party. We invited siblings, parents, and grandparents. The party was going great, and everyone was genuinely happy when they opened their gifts. My wife had a Christmas list, and I got my wife all the items from the Christmas list. My sister opened her gift last, and after looking at the gift for a minute, she broke down in tears and hugged me. For context, when my sister's first boyfriend broke up with her back in high school, it really hurt her. I still remember how she was when she came home from school that afternoon. She was just a mess. She was also going through a lot of other issues. That night, I drove her to a park near where we lived, and we just sat on the grass and looked at the stars. It was really emotional, and my sister still talks about that night occasionally. So, for my sister's Christmas gift this year, I got her a canvas of a customized star map of what the stars in the sky looked like that night. I also wrote a personalized note on that canvas. Everyone wanted to have a look, and they thought it was a really sweet gift. Well, everyone except my wife. Later that night, my wife told me how hurt she was feeling that I chose that romantic gift for my sister and not for her. I told my wife there was nothing romantic about that gift, and besides, that gift didn't even cost that much. My wife's Christmas gift list cost a lot, and I was happy to get my wife every item on the list. I just didn't understand why my wife was feeling sad. I told my wife if she wants the star map, I can get her one too, of what the stars looks like in the sky the night I proposed to her. But my wife told me it isn't the same, and to leave it. This morning, my wife still looks somewhat sad. Am I the a-hole? I don't understand where I went wrong. I thought we had a perfect Christmas. Now for the comments. I feel like there's a lot more context needed here. Do you normally give other people really thoughtful, heartfelt gifts while just checking off items on your wife's list? Or do you try to give her thoughtful gifts too? She's not mad about the gift. She's mad about the thought that went into it, and how she doesn't feel like you gave her that amount of emotional effort. Meanwhile, you're acting like spending money on her is the equivalent of emotional effort. To most people, they are not the same thing. Then when she says she's upset, you acted like the gift itself, the star map, was the issue. And again, put no emotional effort into the response you gave. You said you would just copy-paste the same gift you gave your sister. She didn't want the map. She wants the effort and the care. I would bet this goes a lot deeper than just this one Christmas. How often do you put effort into other relationships while acting like your relationship with the person you chose to marry is on the back burner? One of the last nails in my marital coffin was a Christmas where I had gotten my then husband a few small gifts. We had many troubles then, so I couldn't get a lot, that were meaningful to him, his family, and their heritage. He got me nothing. I told myself that was okay because of finances. And then he showed me a thoughtful gift he had gotten one of his managers. I froze. It wasn't a romantic gift at all. Personally, I think it was to get on his co-worker's good side. I don't think it worked. But I remember standing in my living room and just being still as he told me how much time it took picking out this gift. Here I was, his wife and mother of his children, and he couldn't even take the time to get me a candle or scented hand lotion. The saying, "it's the thought that counts," is very true for many of us. I'm wondering if Opie's wife gives him a list of things, because if she didn't, he'd tell her he had no idea what to get her. Or maybe she's a materialistic bee, but I sense there's something deeper for Opie's wife. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give my mom the only gift she wanted for Christmas? A little backstory. My sister has resented my existence pretty much since I was born. When I got pregnant with my oldest daughter, my sister became very controlling. She would demand to be at every OB appointment and tried to demand we let her in the delivery room when only one person was allowed in beside me. Every first for my oldest had to involve my sister because she's never had a kid before. This is my first kid too, you know? My sister became obsessed with my oldest, to the point I believe she was borderline grooming her to believe that she was the mom and not me. My family and I relocated a couple of months ago halfway across the country. This decision came because my sister threatened to call CPS on me for not allowing her to take my oldest over the entire summer break. She told me she'd have me lose custody of both kids. The reason I wouldn't let her take my oldest for the summer was because she had literally just threatened to bring her pistol to my mom's house and put a bullet in my fiancé's head. We moved a few months back to get away from that toxicity. I figured this was the best option for us and decided to still keep somewhat of a relationship with my sister. We would video chat almost daily. On my oldest 5th birthday, my sister made a call to CPS. She claimed my fiancé and I were sexually abusing my 5-year-old and we were physically neglecting both children. She sent in a photo of my 2-year-old with chocolate ice cream on her face because she'd literally just finished the ice cream. My sister saw her eating it, so she knew it was fresh, yet still took a screenshot and used that as evidence that I'm neglecting my kids because they're always dirty. The sexual abuse claim came because my 5-year-old had a diaper rash and it was bothering her. So she said, "My butt hurts. My daughter is autistic and has epilepsy. We're working on potty training still." I know it was my sister who reported us because she bragged about it. And I know for sure this report was her being mad that we moved away. She wanted to get back at me for taking her kids away from her. I decided it was best to go fully no contact with my sister. She tried to hurt my kids, and she hurt me and my fiancé pretty badly. To me, what she did was unforgivable. Today, with it being Christmas, I called my mom on Messenger so the kids could show her what they got and tell her Merry Christmas. The conversation went pretty well until the end when she went into another room and asked me if I could do her a favor. I said, "Sure, what's up?" And she goes, "Have the kids talk to your sister. It's Christmas." I told her no, I will not have that. She tried to hurt my kids, and I don't want them around someone who would do that. My mom started crying and going on about how it's Christmas, and it'd just be for a couple of minutes. Then we can go back to no contact. I told her that it was my daughter's birthday when she decided to try and ruin her life. My mom started crying and said she wanted to get off the phone, so we hung up. The last time my kids saw my sister since going no contact, they kept asking for 2 weeks about talking to her. This wouldn't be a one-time thing. This would be them begging and crying to see my sister, and them not understanding why they can't. Was I being an a-hole here? This was the only thing my mom asked for Christmas this year. Not the a-hole for protecting your kids from harmful behavior. Not the a-hole. You're protecting your children from someone who has proven to be harmful and dangerous, and that takes priority over anything, even family requests. Your sister's actions, including the CPS report and threat, have had a serious impact on your family, and it's understandable that you would refuse to expose your kids to her. While your mom's feelings are valid, her request puts your children at risk emotionally, and you are right to set boundaries. You made a difficult decision to protect your children, and that is never something to apologize for. She threatened to shoot your fiancé. She called CPS on your daughter's birthday. She has threatened to take your child. At this point, a restraining order is the bare minimum. She's dangerous. She could kidnap your daughter and unalive your fiancé in the process. Your reaction is weak. Tell your mom that if she ever pushes for your sister again, then you will need to reevaluate if she should be allowed near them too, considering she gives zero care about her safety. Not the a-hole. Your sister is mentally unstable, and your mom is enabling her. Your mom is the biggest a-hole in this. She should be getting your sister help instead of endangering your kids. I've strongly considered a restraining order and was about to go to the court to get one when I read that to do that, I have to provide my address. I felt it would end up being safer to move as soon as we could and not give anyone our address and only use a P.O. box if needed. If I didn't have to provide my address to get a restraining order, I'd 100% do that.
Am I the a-hole for telling my birth siblings to buzz off and leave me alone, and that I don't care about their stupid freaking parents? My 20s male was adopted as an infant. I was actually found in an alley, and when my birth family didn't come forward to claim me and nobody knew who I was adopted. Thankfully, I was an infant at the time, so I didn't have a long foster care experience. I was placed in the alley without anything to keep me warm, in a low visibility area, and there were no signs that I was lovingly placed. It basically looked like I was thrown away like trash. I've seen some old newspaper clippings about it. The story was told to me gradually throughout my childhood. My parents were always open about my adoption. I never felt like an outsider. My family, my parents, siblings, and extended family were my family. Even though I was the only non-bio kid, I was loved, even treasured, and I had a great life. But the circumstance surrounding my adoption meant some things were unclear, with medical history being the biggest issue. I never really cared, but I got engaged a few months ago, and my fiancé and I want children. Seeing the health issues in my family made me realize I have no idea if I could pass anything on to my future kids. After thinking it over, I did a 23andMe genetic test, but I did it wrong and mistakenly made myself discoverable. I realized quickly after my results came in, but by then it was too late. 2 birth siblings found me. They're older. My birth parents had 5 kids before me. They all knew about me and wanted to get to know me. The birth siblings started off somewhat reasonable, but when I made it clear I didn't want to hear my birth parents' story, they flipped a switch. They said how much their parents regretted giving me away and how they would have come forward, but didn't want to get in trouble for abandoning me like they did. They believed I owed their parents and them the chance to tell their story and build a relationship. I stood my ground and blocked them, but they followed me to social media, insisting that we're family and that I should be kinder to them and their parents. They told me that it's not like I'm just a half-sibling. I'm the baby who was missing. They sent messages trying to make me feel bad for their parents, especially their mom. And it pissed me off. After almost 3 months of them finding ways around my blocking them, I finally told them to buzz off and leave me alone. I told them I don't care about their stupid freaking parents. I had to delete my account because they kept making random new accounts, and I couldn't block them fast enough in their outrage over what I said. They told me their parents didn't deserve that. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You didn't deserve to be abandoned like garbage as an infant. There have been safe haven laws for decades. You owe no one anything. Based on the description of how he was abandoned, he was lucky he survived and was found. Send them all the newspaper clippings of a baby left to die in an alley. Did you at least get medical info out of them? I didn't get it from them, but the genetic testing I did gave me a decent picture of everything. I'm glad I didn't ask the birth siblings for direct medical history, because that would likely be used to try and bargain for what they want. How does that conversation even go? Sorry mom and dad tried to unalive you, but it would be really nice if you could help them feel less guilty about that. F all the way off. It was more like, we know our parents abandoned you, but there were good reasons. You'd feel bad for them if you knew those reasons. Please hear them out. Please be their son. Please make them happy. Let's be a family. Yay. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling CPS on my family and asking to be removed from our house? My parents have 4 kids. There's me, 16 male, and I'm the oldest. And then I have 2 younger sisters, 13 and 10, and a younger brother, 12. Our dad drinks a lot. He's had issues with alcohol for as long as I can remember. He doesn't work, doesn't do anything around the house, never wants to talk to any of us, and that leaves it all on mom. Except my mom puts a lot of it on me. For a long time I did it willingly, and I wanted to help keep us together. But I started to feel resentful in the last 2 years, and then I realized if I wanted a better life, I needed out, and I needed to stop things from staying the same. My siblings have no expectation to help. My mom said there can be too many people helping, and it needs to be just me. So I was making after-school snacks and getting dinner ready for when mom got home. I was left in charge if my mom wasn't home for any reason, even if dad was there, because we never knew when he'd just get up and go to the bar. I had to make sure homework was done before mom got home, and I had to forge her signature on stuff, with mom's permission, because she wanted to come home and relax after a long day at work. My mom left me in charge of paying the bills online too. She had a checklist for me, and once a month, I had to go through the list and pay them all off. If we didn't have enough, I needed to get my siblings and go to the bank and deposit more money in my parents' account. Sometimes that meant looking for dad's wallet and taking money from him. And other times, it meant taking from my minimal savings to use that. I have no savings left because of it. On weekends, I still got put in charge of feeding my siblings, sometimes my parents too. I found out my mom was eating out frequently on weekends while running errands, and that ticked me off because we struggled with money a lot, and we had more than I realized. She just used it to spoil herself. The other thing was she'd bring home snacks for my siblings, but wouldn't bring me anything. She was also giving them money behind my back and, again, nothing for me. Then my siblings wanted to do more stuff, and mom slowly started putting the responsibility of walking them to those places on me. She had a car, but she'd tell me she needed a break and stuff. There were nights she'd go out with her friends too, and some nights she didn't even come home or got back at 5 a.m. But if I asked for permission to sleep at a friend's house or see a movie with my friend, she'd tell me we didn't have the money and she couldn't be without me. My siblings got to hang out with their friends if they wanted, but my mom always had excuses for why I couldn't. She started going out more frequently and sometimes with my dad. I tried talking to my mom, but she didn't care about giving me time off. All she'd talk about was how hard she worked her butt off for us. And she'd tell me I was young and didn't get stressed as much or need breaks like someone older. My grades started slipping this year. It was too much for me to keep up with, and mom got an email about it, and she refused to speak to my guidance counselor about it. The guidance counselor set up a meeting. She didn't say anything to me. I was told by my guidance counselor in November about it. I asked mom why, and she said the reality is, I might need to drop out anyway, so why would she waste her time? I sat on that for a few weeks, and then I spoke to my school about everything. My guidance counselor called CPS, and so did one of my teachers. But then I called and told them everything and talked about there not being enough food in the house because, at that point, there wasn't, and how we didn't even have money in our school lunch accounts. Someone from CPS came, and I begged them to take me. There were several visits before I was actually removed. My siblings weren't because mom put money in their accounts after the initial CPS visit, and she explained that she had called their schools before and had allowed the account to overdraw, and she paid it off after a few weeks. CPS is still involved, but I'm staying with a family member. CPS is trying to reunite me, but I have said I don't want to go back. On top of all the stuff with my parents, my siblings have turned into really crappy people who don't care about me. Guess our parents taught them that, but I don't feel the need to save them anymore, or even care if they get put through what I was. At the start of the month, my mom and siblings figured out I was the one who called. Some of the details brought up finally connected in their heads, and they're mad at me. Mom said I was doing better than a lot of kids, and my actions came across as those of a spoiled brat. She told me the fact I asked to be removed, spoke about what my character is, and how easy I find it to abandon my family. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Good for you. You went to an adult and got out. Thanks. It's really daunting going to someone and saying I have a crappy home life and I'm being neglected, but I knew I needed to speak up or my life would never get better. I'd be dropping out and unable to do much with my future. What I'm about to say is not your fault or responsibility. I need you to understand that, okay? Your mother made you her co-parent. You are gone, and no one else in that house is responsible or knows how to do what you used to do. She's holding it together now, but it won't be long before she can't. Now that you contacted CPS, your mom and the other kids are on their radar, which hopefully means when things start slipping, CPS will catch it quicker than if you had just left without saying anything when you turned 18. Good luck. I wish you the best in life. Thanks for not putting that on me. I don't know if others might, but I know people can be weird about claiming the oldest should feel some sense of responsibility for their siblings. Most won't ever have to live it to know how crappy that is to expect. It's bad enough when your parent does that and expects even more from you. Not the a-hole, and I'm sorry for what happened, and it took so long for them to remove you. This stranger is proud of you for what you did to protect yourself. Do you work? Can you become an emancipated minor and stay with a family member, or petition for them to keep guardianship? Keep doing what is best for you, and we are here if you need advice or someone to affirm you did the right thing. I'm looking for a job now. I didn't get the chance to work when I lived with my family because of how much I needed to do outside of school. Emancipation isn't looking like a possibility for me. I'm going to say I want to stay with a family member, or even another if I need to, but I was told it won't be up to me. Next story. Am I the a-hole for laughing when my dad's wife's sister humiliated her and made her cry? My dad's wife's family came to our house for dinner on Saturday. His wife and her sister ended up fighting over me, 16 male, and my sister, 14 female. Her sister was calling my dad's wife delusional and mentioned that she's been married 3 times to 3 men who lost their wives and had kids. She said she was trying to live out her mommy fantasy that she can't have with biological kids, but she could never accept or see that none of her stepkids care about her and that she only left her last husband when one of his kids pushed her down the stairs. And she always stayed longer and pretended she was a mom. She said it's clear to everyone except for her that my sister and I don't want anything to do with her, and that she is holding on to a marriage where she'll be miserable when she realizes the 2 of us won't ever let her be our mom. Her sister also said the only difference between us and the old stepkids was the fact that we didn't do everything we could to make her life hell to get rid of her. But we looked repulsed whenever she tried to hug us or wanted to spend time with us. She told her to open her freaking eyes and get therapy. My dad's wife got upset and said it was so mean and asked why she was humiliating her by throwing all that stuff in her face about her ex-husbands, ex-stepkids, and not being able to have her own kids. It came up because my dad's wife was talking about my sister's birthday coming up in a week and how she wanted a mom and daughter shopping trip for the 2 of them. Her sister rolled her eyes, and that started them off. My dad's wife was really upset, but I laughed, and so did my sister. It was mostly because of how my dad's wife denied what her sister said and made it seem like we loved her and that she is a real mom. But the thing is, her sister is 100% right, and we don't see her as our mom or accept her as our family. Our dad loves her for real and has let her try to step all over mom's memory by trying to play mommy, inserting herself into our lives and making us celebrate her for Mother's Day and stuff. But we don't accept it, and we won't ever appreciate her or be glad she's here. If they divorce or dad dies, we won't even look at her again. I don't even care if she's doing it to try and make everyone happy. I hate that she won't accept no, and that when we tell her we don't want another mom, she does it anyway, because we need a mom, and crap like that. When my sister and I laughed, it made things worse. Her sister was like, "See?" And we were asked to speak up and we said she's right. I said I didn't know all the stuff about before, but it was gross to try and replace dead moms because she couldn't have her own kids. My dad wasn't happy with us, and he ended up kicking his wife's sister out. Yesterday, he talked to us after he calmed down and said it was really mean to let our mom be treated like that. I told him she will never be our mom, and her sister was right that she's delusional for not seeing that we don't love or want her. He said we might feel like that, but laughing was cruel when she was so upset. Are we the a-holes? Now for the top comments. If your dad's wife has been married 3 times to 3 men who lost their wives with kids, she is delusional and her sister was right to warn you. She does not love your dad. She loves the idea of playing mother. Your dad is not helping either. He is enabling her dreams of being a mother. If I were you, I would be making plans to move out with your sister as soon as possible. It would not take much to get her completely unhinged. Not the a-hole. It is more cruel to constantly force 2 kids to accept a mother that they do not wish to have. Yep. Her sister also brought up the fact she's against dating men with kids but with exes, even if the exes are out of the kids' lives. She always goes for the guys with dead wives. It's so damn creepy. Your dad's wife sure knows how to pick them, huh? Flips to the obituaries. I got the full visual of a lady wearing funeral garb, licking thumb, flipping through a newspaper, furiously circling obits with a red pen and look of determination. Survived by 5 kids? I'm on my way. Not the a-hole. I wish parents read all these stories and learn not to impose mothers/fathers on grieving children. We all should try to be a little kinder with each other and respect the memory of the person that is gone. I wish my dad could have found someone who was okay with being a stepmom or just a dad's wife instead of a mom. He maybe wanted more, but I don't get why. He was married to mom before she died. It confuses me why he'd want to replace her like that. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my mom be around my baby because she wants to have her affair partner around my baby? I, 28 female, am having my first baby next month after years of infertility and treatment. Everyone is excited, and we are extremely happy waiting for the baby. I think my own mother is the happiest of all. However, I've never gotten along with her. I have a lot of trauma from my childhood with her, which I no longer resent but still remember. She did what she could with what she had. The issue right now is that she's been in a toxic relationship with my stepdad, whom she has been with for 25 years. He cheats on her and she refuses to leave him. Whatever, it's her life. But she has started to do the same, I guess, and has tried to involve me. She started talking to a guy who is supposedly cousins with my biological dad. My bio dad says he doesn't know him. The guy she's seeing asks too much about me, says he wants to meet me because we are supposedly family, and just inquires about me in a way that makes me uncomfortable. My mom has tried to make me talk to him and meet him. I've refused because I think she should leave my stepdad first. I've also asked her several times to stop talking to me about him. I don't care to know about their relationship, what he does, or anything else about him. She told me I was crazy and that the guy had done nothing to me. Sure, he hasn't, but I don't like him. Despite knowing my feelings, she still brings him up. Their relationship is complicated, and sometimes I feel like she's making up in her mind that he's interested in her romantically, which, whatever, not my life. The issue is that one day, she casually mentioned that once the baby is here, this guy would be spending time with my baby, holding her, and just being around her. This made me extremely angry. For whatever reason, I do not like this guy. There's something about him that makes me not want him near my child. I told her no and reminded her of our previous conversations, where I asked her to stop involving me. Once again, she got angry. I talked to my partner and told him I didn't want her near my baby. I asked her at the beginning of my pregnancy to keep my pregnancy a secret because I was scared something would happen and only wanted to tell a few people. She told him everything about my life. She called again, and during our conversation, since my due date is approaching, I told her she was not allowed to take pictures of my baby because I didn't want that guy to receive any photos from her. That didn't go well, as she told me I was crazy and needed mental help. This is my first child. After so many years of prayers and procedures, I finally get to be a mom. Maybe I am being paranoid, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. Am I the a-hole if I don't let her near my daughter? Not the a-hole, but isn't it time to go no contact with her? Or even force her hand by informing stepdad of her affair? I've thought about telling him, but I don't want to risk her safety. I'm not sure how he'd react, and some people don't react well. You know him, stepdad, best. If you suspect violence from him, perhaps don't inform him. Curious though, she's with a guy capable of DV and willingly stays with him? However, go no contact with her and focus on you and your baby. I moved out so long ago, and back then I never saw him hit her or anything. But apparently they fight all the time now, and both have shown aggression. She said he bought a gun a few months ago, but I am not sure. I don't believe anything she says, and if she has stayed after 6 years of infidelity where stepdad doesn't come home for 3 days straight, I believe she could possibly stay if he is violent, but it's not something I know for sure.